We tried.
Rob.
Good evening. Welcome to Tuesday, May 10th, 2022 regular selectmen's meeting. We have Selectman Mike Lattery here. Selectman Noah Cobb is on Zoom. Linda and Mark are excused. We have our town manager here. We have our public works director here tonight. We have our town clerk and our recreation director on Zoom. Please stand with me and salute the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I have to say, every time I do that, I'm always in the fear that halfway through the pledge, I'm gonna go blank.
Me too.
Hasn't happened yet. No. We have the approval of our April 26th meeting.
We just have to make one amendment to line 13 that the motion carried. It's written as 5.0 to 4.0. And then make a motion to approve with the amendment.
We have a motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. I'll go through the roll. This is Noah,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. Nobody's here for public comment. We have no reports of, no public hearing, reports of committee, department reports, appointments, unfinished business, town manager report. We'll go through this quick.
Yeah, I got one thing. It's about trees and landscaping at the fire station. From the construction and just general natural processes, we have a handful of trees down at the fire station that fell down. We got one tree that's leaning. We have a quote for $2,500 to take care of it. There's also some grass issues. That's kind of will play into some of our stormwater management and erosion issues. So I'm asking to take some funds out of contingency. And I don't have a quote yet on the grass. So if you want to work on a limit, maybe $7,500 out of contingency, and that will address the grass and the trees.
Take care of the tree issues. Yeah, I saw some of the trees coming down around there. Any questions for the town manager? The grass issues, who do you have quotes for from that? Do you have anybody?
I reached out to a company in Berwick, the one that's just across the railroad track, and I reached out a few days ago, so I haven't had anything back from him.
I'll make a motion that we approve the use of $7,500 in contingency funds to address the issues with trees coming down at the fire station and grass and loam issues.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, I'll go through the roll. Is Noah,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. That's it for town manager's
That's it.
report? I thought you said there was a lot going on in town.
I'll
You
see
just
you.
can't report on it.
I'll see you in new business.
I have nothing under selectmen's communications. That brings us to our accounts payable. We have a payroll warrant number 66 for May 5th, 2022 for the amount of $77,500.19. We have a payroll warrant number 68 for May the 10th, 2022 for the amount of $73,884.47. And we have accounts payable warrant number 67 for May 10th, 2022 for the amount of $1,035,192.07. I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
And I'll second.
A motion and a second. No discussion, I'll go through the roll. Is Noah,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. New business. Consideration of connecting to the water utility. Step right up, Jody.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me again tonight. The letters for that, we can start with that. This is pretty self-explanatory. Just take the opportunity to maybe talk to Summersworth about hooking back up for a couple of reasons. One, we're a sole source water treatment plant now. That's not too comfy place where we're going as far as the town of Berwick and probably all the expansions that we're gonna do and see all the development that we're gonna have at hand. So I'd like to take the opportunity to run over there at some point and have a talk with them guys and get their feel for maybe hooking back up to them one way or another. And that's the purpose of this letter here. Something happens in a river, they also have wells where they can cut off the river water and pump from wells so that if there's a contamination of some sort, because we both draw off the same river water. So there's an opportunity there if something does happen in the future because of all the rain events, weather events that we do have and the unforeseen events that may happen in the future. And again, that letter explains all that. I just wanted to bring it to your attention that I kind of wanted to go over and get that ball rolling.
Any questions for Jody?
No, I think it's a good idea to at least have a conversation and see how they feel about it and what we could do, 'cause anything that takes the burden off our plant obviously helps the town.
Talking to Jody before the meeting this is something that historically Berwick and Somersworth had a connection. It was disconnected quite a few years ago, and then when they were redoing the bridge about 6 years ago, we wanted to reconnect, and at that time, Somersworth didn't want us to reconnect. There were a lot of different reasons at that time. It had to do, part of it had to do also with, we wanted to connect to the natural gas line over there, and I have a feeling they really didn't want us to connect to the natural gas line, but as Mike said, it's worth, any conversation is good. There's been change in what's going on both here and across the river, so I'm open to talking to anybody and check it out and, start working on it.
Okay,
So
sounds good.
then we have a water service application.
Something new to the water department itself. Going through the paperwork at the time that I've been here, I really haven't seen any of this kind of paperwork that people were able to apply for water and offer a fee from the town. It's just pretty much all nilly-willy, free kind of stuff. Just come in, do whatever you want to do, get a water service, and you're done. So this implements a couple fees, and I'm just looking to maybe we can get this accepted from you guys and move forward with this paperwork and this application.
Any questions for Jody? You said a couple of fees. I'm assuming these fees are to take care of the paperwork involved in, the application and all that.
Yep, one's obviously the application fee, and then the other one's the inspection fee from the water department. Also working on a road opening permit that has some fees. Sullivan Street being a prime example of not holding people responsible for the pavement. You can know the bumps that are coming down, those are water cuts, most of them. One's a water break, but we're moving forward with James there, and we're working up something on that end as well to hold some people responsible for the way the road ends up when they're done.
Right, yeah, that's been a complaint for a lot of years,
Yeah.
they come in and they cut the road up and then they fill it in, but then the next year you get, reverse speed bumps.
Yep, so that paperwork's coming, but this is strictly for an application fee and then obviously the inspection fee at the bottom there, so.
I make a motion, we approve the Town of Berwick water service application fee.
We have a motion to accept,
Second.
we have a motion and a second. No further discussion, I'll go through the roll. Is Noah,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. And I see you also have since you're at this podium, temporary transfer station use permit. is,
Yep, something James and I have been working on as well. We see a lot of, obviously, New Hampshire plates coming over. The longer I'm here, the more I hear the townspeople talking about New Hampshire plates and not having stickers, and then hearing excuses about it's a brand new car, I don't want to put stickers on my car. I'm trying to help my aging transfer workers up there to try to enforce these rules, but obviously there might be some contentions at sometimes between people and them. So we're just trying to get some more monetary figures into the transfer station by holding people accountable from these stickers and coming in and making sure that that's what's going on down there with stickers.
And with the temporary transfer station permit, which we do every couple of weeks, we'll get a request, and it's for either they're helping to move a family member out, or there's some extenuating circumstance where they don't have a sticker in the town, but they are a resident. And proposing a $10 per month fee up to a year period. So it'd be a 1 month minimum, and it's the $10 per month. The thought behind that is, if they're not paying an excise tax to the town, they should pay for some use of the transfer station. It's kind of
Agreed.
a starting point just to get that process formalized. And we've updated the temporary permit. We're going to make it a vibrant color and ask people to put them in their dashboard to make it easier. So either they have a sticker or they have the permit in their dash. And if they don't, then they'll get prompted to show their pass.
so looking at this is, that the paperwork here, you have to be a resident of Berwick or living in Berwick or using it on behalf of somebody that is a resident of Berwick. I know, like my sister had her son who lives in New Hampshire at one time do some dump runs for her, and she came here to get the permit, the temporary permit. So there's
Yeah, I think you got to either be a Berwick resident or doing a dump run on behalf of a Berwick resident.
So my question I have about this is renters. Is, commercial rental properties, they're supposed to have their own waste disposal at their site. Would a renter be able to come in and get one of these and say, hey, I'm a Berwick resident, I'm living at this such and such a street, but if it's a rental property that, a commercial rental property.
Yeah, we won't give one to the landlord. I think the question is, do we give one to the resident?
Right, yeah, because, a commercial landlord is supposed to take care of their own waste. So I don't know, I just thought of it just now, but I think it's a good idea, it's a good place to start.
I think the household waste, I think you're right. I think maybe in terms of like a kid's toy or something, they might still need to have access to the transfer station. But I think it's definitely, going back to the files, it's been a big point of discussion.
Yeah, it has been for
Any
years.
renter of a residential unit would be registering their vehicle here, and they would get a regular transfer station sticker. These are only for people who don't live here and need to use the transfer station on a temporary basis, like a weekend they're cleaning out a building they own or something like that. But any renter would get a sticker with their registration.
Okay. It's a good place to start. It's a good way to, like I said, trying to get the handle on things. And as I know, Hokie and the guys up there is, I don't want them to have any contention. Everybody's generally pretty easy going up there. But I've been up there a few times when there's been raised voices. All right. Any other questions for Jody and James?
I will make a motion to approve the temporary transfer station use permit.
Motion, I'll second. All right, I'll go through the roll. Is Noah,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. All right, thank you, Jody. Anything else while you're standing there?
Right off the top of my head today, but I'll
Yeah.
come prepared better next time for sure.
No, no problem. Thank you.
Thanks for your time, guys. I
Yep,
Thanks,
not a
Jody.
problem. Have a good night.
Night.
Now we'll bring in Angela. Hey, Angela, how you doing? We have a couple things, Memorial Field User Agreement. I also want to mention, Angela, your letter that you sent out, talking about the construction and everything going on at the Memorial Field, and
Yeah.
how people are impatient and want to know when things are going to be done, and
Yes.
don't we all wish we had a magic wand?
I sure do. I wish I was Harry Potter in this instance right now.
I just want to say to people is that this is an ongoing, process. We have no definite timeline. Jody and the Public Works crew were fortunate to be able to use them this springtime to do a lot of the demolition. So now it's a matter of getting the consultants and choosing the right people to put it all back together. So it will take time. So,
It definitely will. We had our first playground rep come up today, and I'm gonna send him more information tomorrow on everything that we talked about today, and hopefully he'll be able to come up with, I've asked for 3 different proposals, but depending on funds, we all know that pricing is skyrocketing right now. So depending on funds, we'll see if we have to make the playground situation a phased project where we start with a smaller piece and continually add until we can get those funds in order. And they are backed up quite a bit right now because there are a lot of towns utilizing the COVID money to replace their playgrounds and their recreation areas. So right now they're pretty slammed, and a lot of the manufacturers are having a hard time coming up with the stuff as well. But we did save a ton of money by having Jody's crew do what they did, and because of that, we're able to take that money and allocate it back to what we really need to allocate it towards.
very good. So now, Memorial Field User Agreement. Now, this has been in the
Yes.
works for quite a while.
It sure has.
And I have to say, it's pretty comprehensive. I've read through it a couple times, and it does change, it clarifies a lot of the questions that have been out there over the years about use and how to use it and who's responsible. So, thank you for doing that.
Oh, you're welcome. I mean, there's some things that we still need to look at, especially the concession area, the equipment. Do we get a separate permit for the concession area and the building area? I think that is kind of the strongest point right now, is it is a separate entity compared to the field. And there are different regulations and guidelines that we need to follow. And I have not heard from MMA. They were supposed to come meet with me on May 3rd. I have yet to be able to get in contact with the person that I've been trying to get a hold of. So I'm hoping to follow up by the end of the week on that and to make sure that we can get him back up here to do the full scope of that.
Any questions for Angela?
None from me.
No? So, if there are no other questions, I'm looking for a motion to implement the Memorial Field User Agreement.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to implement the Town of Berwick Memorial Field use policy.
Before we do that, sorry
Okay,
guys,
That's
Yeah.
fine.
could we go back to the dogs, section in the field, in the Memorial Field user fee
Where it
or
has-
user agreement?
Where it has the dogs are only permitted at Memorial Field during blank.
Yeah, I only say this because we do have a lot of animal or a lot of dog owners in this town. And there are a lot of parks now starting to open up, certain time frames of when dogs can be permitted on the fields or around the fields to walk. And they're leashed, but, it's like a lot of them are doing it in the morning and then later on in the evening, but most of it, like throughout the summertime, is like from 8 to 10 or something like that, or even throughout the year.
They try to avoid like sporting events and times, right? Is that what they're starting to
Yes,
see in
yep.
towns because they're having too many, for lack of, one way or another, user error or owner error, or even just a kid running by and
Yeah,
getting into some
Yeah.
issues with towns, unfortunately.
right.
Well, that seems like something that the times might change as the use of the field changes also.
Yeah, Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'd hate to put that in as, certain times in the policy itself. And maybe
Right.
leave that up to your discretion
okay,
as the season progresses. Because you may put some times out there and find out that they don't work. And
Right.
So,
yeah. It's like the beaches, where you can bring your dogs. You can't
Right.
bring your dogs during the summertime, but
Right.
once Labor Day is over, you can start bringing your dog
right,
to the beach. Or there's parks like throughout, the off season. You can walk your dog early mornings and then late at night. Once where there's no games being played or no kids being around.
right.
Just stuff like that. Something to think about and something to, especially once we get that path put in eventually, in the future.
So,
But I just wanted to get your opinions and your thoughts on it.
yeah, no, like I said, that's something that, is you and the rec commission, can take care of as needed, I think,
Okay.
so. So we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Is there no further discussion? I'll go through the roll. Is Noah,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. All right. And going through the warrants tonight, Angela, I saw that part of the warrant was for the purchase of the Memorial Field parcel, and James said that we're closing on the 17th.
Yes.
So that's very
Finally.
exciting. That's very exciting.
Yay.
So,
It is exciting.
yeah. So all right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Good night.
Angela.
That brings us to impact fee proposed amendment.
We've been talking about this for a while, and I think I finally found a way that I think makes a ton of sense. The proposal is for any multifamily units, and by definition, they have to be on infrastructure, on town water and sewer. Where often that's also where MS4 areas are. That's where we need sidewalks. Also, multifamilies, they don't typically take up open space in our rural areas where we want to conserve it. So it makes sense to keep collecting it for single family and duplexes, which can go anywhere in town. Are there any questions on that part of it?
No, this is something that you and I have talked about, quite a bit over the past year or so, and I think this is a good compromise, to how to do that. Take the money from the single family, open space, and transfer that to the infrastructure, so that is, as James said, you know, it's where we want to put new sidewalks and those types of amenities, so it makes more sense. And, you know, especially like with the edge going in across the street and everything, you know, they're talking about potentially hundreds of units taking up 11 acres, whereas, you know, a single family house, you know, 11 acres is 3 houses, you know, so,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so.
So there's a process to this. This all sounds good. There's we have to hold 2 public hearings.
Yep.
Okay.
The last piece on it is, I think I realize we charge more for mobile homes than the regular single family. I feel like that's a weird thing to do.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly why that went in that way.
I think there might be some calculation, maybe there's that went into it, but I don't feel like it's equitable.
Yeah. So, yeah, so we need 2 public hearings. Is any way we can work these public hearings into our other public hearings coming up? And we only need 30 days advance notice, so it's pretty tight schedule. I don't think we can, but, why don't we start the process and go through it? We don't need a vote tonight,
Yep.
so
Just get it on the agenda.
just get it working and go through it. And, see if we can get some more input on it.
Yes, we'd almost be looking, second meeting of June,
Yeah,
probably
probably.
after election, so
Yeah.
first
I,
full one after
I won't be here
election.
for the second meeting in June. So go ahead and do it.
Leave for note again.
So, all right. So now the downtown consultant recommendations. So,
We had a interview team that interviewed 2 firms yesterday, VHB and Sebago Technics. Both firms have a great deal of knowledge in the downtowns, in our downtown. Both firms are impressive. They have the technical ability. Both would be great. We do see a big advantage in having the same engineer as Great Falls Construction, same engineer firm. One example, they're very familiar with the stormwater. They've done the CAD out here. They've done the calculations. They're intimately familiar on that front of it. And that's,
they did all the stuff up at the new fire station, right? Sebago?
no, that was different engineer.
Oh, it was?
It was,
I thought Sebago was up there too, but anyways.
they've done it, but
Yeah.
they have done a ton
Right.
of work. For municipalities. They've done downtown planning. We think that there's, we know there's going to be a cost advantage because they have engineering done. Also, their rates were a little bit lower as well. And we did talk through, because we would end up sharing, having the same engineer as Great Falls Construction. What would happen if there's a difference of opinion? We thought that their answer was, they had a good answer where they said they're gonna offer the best professional solution. And so with that, Sebago Technics is our recommendation for the RFQ, and this group will help as our downtown consultant. They'll help us manage the $3 million earmark we got, help us with engineering downtown projects, and probably most importantly, go out and get more money.
Get more money is always a good thing. Any questions for James? No, I know that, both the firms, like you said, have a lot of, background in Berwick, and they have been around, as we've dealt with. Now, VHB, were they the ones that wanted the roundabout?
Yeah, that was their
Okay.
cost.
Sebago Technics. No. So yeah, as you said, you had you had your group to review everything, and any questions for James? If not, I'll make a motion that we accept the town manager's recommendation of using Sebago Techniques for our downtown consultation.
I will second.
Any further discussion? If not, I'll go through the roll. Is Noah?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
And myself is a yes. So we have no quitclaim deeds, no abatements. Yeah, we don't have Karen here tonight. That's one of the first. Is no second public comment, no executive session tonight.
No.
Is any other business or non-agenda items anybody wants to bring up?
I just want to mention the program at the library was amazing. BCM and the library, they put together a wonderful program. I mentioned at the program, it was about programs called Food Desert in a rural town, and it's about how the newspaper is have been covering local communities less and less, the impact it has. And I mentioned that night some of my favorite people were there. Saw some of my favorite people in Berwick, and library is a special place, and the people that make Berwick special are, it's just left me with a great feeling of community pride.
And I just want to say that is since BCM has started that and aired that, they have been invited to speak over at and do a presentation over at UNH and at the South Berwick Library. So
Awesome.
it has been heard and is spreading. So I know that they're still working on it. They still haven't finished their final draft. They're actually, it's being submitted to National Humanities Council. I can't remember now. On the 14th, I believe. So they're scrambling to get the last tweaks in right now. So any other business?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned. I'll second that one. All those in favor say aye. Aye, and thank you very much.
Good night.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night, guys.
In the morning.